We all make mistakes when we first start working out. Hopefully, we're learning from those mistakes so that over the years we can train more effectively, see better results, and limit the risk of injury as much as possible. So to help you speed up that learning curve, today I'm going over 7 of the most common workout mistakes men make when working out. I think when I first started working out, I've made all 7 of these mistakes. So if you're doing some of these things, don't take it personally. Just try to learn from it. Try to come with an open mind, and let's get into it. Mistake number 1 is only training the muscle groups you like and neglecting other muscle groups. This is something that I did a lot of in my first 2 or 3 years working out. I didn't know what I was doing, but I learned that I liked to be in the gym and work out. So what I would do is I would just train the muscle groups I liked training, which happened to be chest, arms, right, biceps, triceps, and I very much neglected my back, and I very much neglected my legs as well. And after 2 or 3 years of really heavily favoring these muscle groups that I preferred, I developed some really bad muscle imbalances, some really bad tightness all over my body, in my hips, in my legs, in my shoulders as well. And I spent a few years trying to reverse that, trying to improve my flexibility, my mobility, and these imbalances that I had developed for myself. So make sure that whatever program you're following, that it's a well-structured and well-balanced program, that you're hitting each and every muscle group, the back, the shoulders, the chest, the rear delts, biceps and triceps, core, lower back, quads, hamstrings, glutes. You're not neglecting any specific areas. This is also likely going to ensure that you're building a more symmetric physique, right? You're actually going to look better overall. Mistake number 2 is that you may not be training close enough to failure each and every set that you do. And this is one of the most common mistakes that I see in the gym, and that directly affects the results you get, okay? And what I mean by that is, when I say you're not training close enough to failure, what I mean is this. Someone may do 10 reps of an exercise and they finish the set because 10 reps is a nice round number. When in reality, with that weight that they've selected, if I said, here's $10,000 to do 20 reps, right? Do double the amount of reps you just did. They could probably do it, right? If there was money on the line, or if there was a gun to their head and said, hey, you gotta do more reps, they could definitely do it. And this is one of the things that I tell my clients to put a big priority on when working out. Regardless of how many reps you're doing, 5, 10, 20 reps, it doesn't matter. What you want to make sure is that each and every set you do is a very challenging set. So you want to finish the set and think in your head, man, that was really hard. I don't think I could have done another 3 or 4 reps. Because what this means is that each and every set was challenging and you didn't half-ass it, right? You're not saving your energy for later exercises. Now, you don't have to train until absolute failure where the weight literally falls down because you can't complete the next rep. But what I recommend, and what a lot of other really experienced professionals in the industry as well recommend, is training anywhere from like 1 to 3 reps away from absolute failure. So let's say you're doing your reps and total failure is you can't even get the weight up, not even for 1 more rep. You want to be just 1 or 2 reps, maybe 3 reps away from failure. And that's going to ensure that each and every set that you do is challenging enough to create results, and it's at the right intensity that it's going to challenge your muscles, help you build some muscle, help you get stronger, and see better results. So remember this, if you finish a set and you think that you probably could have got another 4 or 5 reps with that weight, it was likely too light and you need to increase the weight the next time you do it. Mistake number 3 is that you have a poor order of the exercises that you're doing. Some people don't realize how important this really is. They just go into the gym and they start with curls, or they start with triceps or lateral raises or something like that, and they don't realize that starting with more of the accessory type movements and the really small muscle groups could hurt your ability to train the larger muscle groups like chest or back later on in the workout. A lot of the exercises that we do actually incorporate more than one muscle group. For example, a lat pull down obviously is going to work the back, right? And that's what we generally do lat pull downs for, is to train the back. But indirectly, or I should say secondarily, your biceps are going to be worked to some degree, to a lesser degree, but they are being involved in the movement as well. So if we had already trained biceps earlier on, it may hurt our ability to then do pull downs or rows or train back in general if the secondary muscle group, the secondary mover, is already fatigued a lot. And the same example works for many other muscle groups like chest and triceps, right? So if you go in and do a whole bunch of tricep exercises and then go on to bench press or a dumbbell chest press, it's going to be much harder than if you would have just started with the bench press at the very beginning. So I hope this makes sense, that the order of the exercises plays a massive role in your ability to get stronger, your ability to see better results, and every single thing in your workout program should be there for a reason. The order of the exercises, the exercise selection, the order of the days of your workouts throughout the week, all of this matters a lot. Mistake number 4 is trying to confuse the muscles by changing up your workouts very frequently. If your main goals are based around building a better physique and improving how you look in the mirror, how you fit in your clothes, your overall body composition, switching up your workout program and the exercises you're doing every few weeks is not going to be in your best interest. It's not the best way to go about your workout program. And that's because your body doesn't actually have enough time to make progress on certain movements and progressively overload your core foundational movements that are going to help you actually get better over a long period of time. I'm not saying you have to stick with the same exact workout program forever, but it's going to be in your best interest physique-wise to stick with the same program for at least 8 weeks. I'd say 8 to 12 weeks probably, so that you can progressively overload the exercises you're doing, stick with those same rep schemes, and try to increase weight as best you can. This is also going to help you really master the form and really build that mind-muscle connection on the exercises you're doing. And this is why I personally change up my clients' training phases every 6 to 8 weeks. I find that this is a nice happy medium between being able to progressively overload and sticking with the same program for a good amount of time, while also switching it up and getting something slightly different, slightly progressed compared to the previous training phase. Mistake number 5 is something that we see a lot in the gym, but we often don't realize when we're doing it ourselves, which is not going through the full range of motion when you're doing your exercises. And you probably know this already, so I'm not going to spend too much time explaining it, but like I said, it's often a mistake that we make without realizing we're doing it. We'll realize when someone else is doing it, but not ourselves. So what I recommend doing is, from time to time, take a video clip of some of your sets, right? Maybe the last set of each exercise, prop your phone up and just, get it on video, not necessarily to post or to share with anybody, maybe with your coach, but for anything, just for you to look at it, right? If you can see yourself doing the exercise, you may notice things that you can correct right then and there. You may think that, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that with my back, or I didn't realize I wasn't going through that full range of motion, or I probably have more of an ability to fully extend my arms on the way down from a curl or whatever it is. So that's something I highly recommend doing if you want to really optimize your training. So make sure you're going through the full range of motion on all the exercises that you're doing, because you're likely going to see better results if you can do that. Not only are you going to have more time under tension for the muscles, because each and every rep you're going through that full range of motion, but they're likely going to be harder reps, right? You're doing harder reps and you're doing more work in a given set than someone who's doing half reps or not going through the full range of motion. Mistake number 6 is that you're not resting long enough in between your sets. And this is something that I see a lot of guys trying to limit their rest periods to only 30 seconds or 60 seconds or something like that. And I'm not exactly sure why, but I think it has to do with getting your heart rate up, or maybe burning more calories, right? They think that if they rest too long, that maybe they're being lazy or something like that. But the truth is that if you take short rest periods, only 30 seconds or a minute, your muscles aren't going to be fully recovered and prepared to do that next set to the best of your ability. And the truth is that resting for only 30 seconds or 60 seconds, if the reasoning behind that is to try to burn more calories, you're not going to burn any significant amount more calories than myself if I'm resting 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You're not going to burn a lot more calories in the workout than I am, and I'm likely going to be able to do more weight in my second and third and fourth sets, and I'm going to have more effective and productive sets because I have more rest and I'm able to be fully recovered for all the sets that I'm doing. So then how long should you rest? What I tell my clients is rest as long as you need to in order to be fully recovered and, do that next set that you've got coming up to the best of your ability with as much weight as you can while still getting the reps that you're aiming for, right? So, we don't have all day to be in the gym. You can't rest for 5 minutes or 10 minutes in between sets most cases, but if you need to rest 2 or 3 minutes or even more than that, go ahead and take that time and just make sure that the next set you do, you're doing as much weight as you can while maintaining proper form and just barely being able to reach the reps that you're aiming for. But just for reference, I personally find myself aiming for 1 to 3 minutes in between sets of rest periods. And that's because I'm, relatively busy. I've got a lot to do. I can't be in the gym all day. So that's a nice happy medium of taking enough rest, but also not trying to be in the gym more than an hour or so. Mistake number 7 is one that we all grew up learning to train this way, but it's really not the most optimal and effective way to set up your workout routine, and that's training one muscle group per day. So this might look something like this. On Monday you do chest, on Tuesday you do back, on Wednesday you do legs, which is more than one muscle group, but on Thursday you might do shoulders, on Friday maybe you do arms, and then you rest on Saturday and Sunday. And generally the idea behind this is that you go in the gym and you just absolutely demolish one muscle group for an hour or so, right? You do 6 or 7 exercises just for chest on that Monday. On back day, you do a whole bunch of exercises just for an hour. You just crush your back. And I used to train like this for many years when I first started working out. And as I became more experienced as a personal trainer and as a coach, and as I got into men's physique competitions and shows, I learned that it's not necessary to just go in and demolish one muscle group for an hour. If you're doing 5, 6, 7, 8 exercises for one muscle group just right on that one day, what it most of the time means is that you're just not giving your 100% in those first 2 or 3 or 4 exercises, and you probably saving your energy for later exercises. Because the truth is, if you're really going all out training almost until failure, only 1 to 3 reps away from failure in those first 3 or 4 exercises, you really shouldn't have much, if anything, left for exercise number 5 or 6 or 7. Not only that, but training a muscle group with more frequency is actually shown to be more effective for not only building some muscle, but just building a better physique, a better body composition overall. And what I mean by more frequency is training a muscle group twice in the week instead of just one time. And again, this doesn't mean that you're training chest twice in the week and you're doing 5 or 6 or 7 exercises on both days. It means you're basically spreading that volume around, right? So you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 exercises on that first day that you're hitting chest. Maybe later in the week you have a push workout or a full upper body workout where you're hitting another 2 or 3 exercises for chest. Because the truth is that if your nutrition is really dialed in, you're getting enough protein, you're eating an adequate amount of calories in total, your body should be recovered after 3 or 4 or 5 days of training chest. And you should be ready to train that muscle group again a few days later. And let me be very clear, I'm not saying that training only one muscle group per day or like a bro split routine is bad or that you can't do it or you can't see results doing it. Like I said, I did that for my first few years and I did improve my fitness, I did get better, and it's not terrible to think that you might only hit one muscle group once per week in a certain training phase, but in general, hitting each muscle group twice per week is going to be advantageous for building a better physique. So there you have it, man. Those are my 7 common workout mistakes men make. One that I didn't include because I feel like it's so obvious it didn't really need to be explained, which is training with improper form, right? We all know we shouldn't be training with bad technique or bad form because you're going to get injured more. You're going to recruit other muscle groups instead of the one that you actually want to use. So that one is pretty self-explanatory. But I hope this video was helpful. If it was, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I make new videos just like this every single week. And I will catch you on the next video.